So, ladies and gentlemen, church attendance continue to plummet in America, and there is no change in sight. So, what's going on? They're saying there is a misunderstood reason why millions of Americans have simply stopped going to church. So, nearly everyone I grew up with in my childhood church in Lincoln, Nebraska, is no longer a Christian. That's not unusual. 40 million Americans have stopped attending church in the last 25 years. That's something like 12% of the population, and it represents the largest concentration change in church attendance in American history. So, this person is noticing less and less people in their community are dealing with any type of religion now. This change has also had bad news for America as a whole. Participation in religious community generally correlates with better health outcomes, longer life, higher financial generosity, and more stable families, all of which are desperately needed in a nation with rising rates of loneliness, mental illness, and alcohol and drug dependency. So they take a look at evangelical churches and they are noticing, through surveys they did with 7,000 Americans, and they are noticing people are just not getting the fulfillment they need out of church anymore. It might have been enough years ago, but it doesn't seem to be enough for them now. So they're saying, religious abuse and moral corruption, assaulting children and all kinds of corruption going on with the money. And uh, so that is, they said, one of the factors that's driving people away. This, of course, is an indication of the failure of many leaders who did not address abuse in their church. Yeah, many of them don't. They just hope if they don't talk about it, the issue will go away. And it doesn't go away. It didn't even go away for the Catholic Church. So, they're saying that this seems to be a large share of the problem is how the abuse continues to go on and it goes unaddressed by leadership within the church. Yeah, because they're part of the abuse. That's why. They're part of the people causing the abuse that's going on. So, this is just how life looks for America in the 21st century as far as church is concerned. So, rather, it is designed to maximize individual accomplishments by professionals and financial success, such as systems that leave precious little time or energy for forms of community that don't contribute to one's own professional life or as age professional prospects of one's children. So, workism resigns. Uh, They said, church is putting a lot of politics and money first. That's what they're really trying to say. They're putting a lot of politics and money first in their communities. Religious communities include is a math problem that doesn't add up. Numerous victims of abuse in church environments can identify a moment when they lost their ability to believe and when they almost felt their faith draining out of them. I'm sure they did. I was listening to some of the victims that were in the Catholic Church, and even as adults, they still sound very afflicted by what happened to them years ago. Once you're abused like that stays with you for the rest of your life. It doesn't leave you. You may not talk about it as often, but it stays with you forever. Okay. So, in other cases, a person might be entering a mid career working a high stress job requiring 60 or 70 hours a week. Add that to 15 hours of a commute time, and suddenly something like two-thirds of their waking hours is already accounted for. And so, when a friend invites them to a Sunday morning brunch, they probably want to go to church, but they also want to see that friend because they haven't been able to see them for months. The friend will win out over church. After a few weeks, either scenario, the thought of going to church on Sunday carries a certain mental burden with it. You might want to go, but you also dread the inevitable question about where you have been. I've skipped church and went to brunch with a friend, or I was just too tired to come. Don't sound like convincing excuses. No, it don't. But I don't think people are trying to make excuses so much anymore. I think, just from hearing people talk, a lot of them just don't believe like they did years ago. They don't believe in Christianity at all. Or some of them are Christian, but they don't believe they're finding their answers within the church. So then they start skipping attendance, and then that start growing until they just don't go at all. Now, church attendance have never recovered from the lockdown, y'all. From the time we locked down back in 2020 till now, it's still never recovered at all. Now, when I was talking to my family down in the South, they still don't have church open to this very day. They either go online or they can go to the church parking lot. They still do that, but they have never opened the doors to the church again where they go. Mm-mm-mm. Well, so what can Christian churches do to turn this around? I know they could try to make things safer for people that attend church, but in my opinion, all of the years of inaction from the corrupt people they had within the church that were abusing people, and they just let it go on for way too long. I don't know. I just don't think you can really get people to change their mind about church anymore. Once you start feeling negativity about it, how do you go back? You really can't. You can't. Last time I attended church, my mother was still alive. And I just can't go back in. I have no desire. I can drive past a church all day and all night, and I still don't want to go in there at all. But y'all, please tell me what you think about this story. You know, I can only see things getting more tragic for the American churches. I don't see it getting better in the future, but getting worse. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.